Ciao, Juventus fans. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have you all back, especially for the second edition of the Transfer Meter show. I'll be honest, I was taken a little bit back. I was surprised at how successful the Transfer Meter show was and how it took off the first time around, but I'm very happy to come back and do it again for you guys. Hopefully I won't let you down. Hopefully it'll be interesting enough, but we're going to go through, get some guys. We're going to switch it a little bit up today. But actually, before we do that, I just want to talk about real quick about how amazing was this Izerdi team. How awesome was it to come in as the underdogs? And not only, and I understand not every team was on the top of their games, as in, when I'm talking about Spain, maybe isn't the Spain of old, but to make a run that they did, to beat Belgium, to beat Spain, and then to beat England in Wembley Stadium in England, just beautiful. It was amazing. So excited. I'm still riding high from the win. So happy that I got to witness another, championship. We saw the World Cup in 2006. Back last time was when I was 16, and now to see this, heck, almost. I won't say too much about. Well, I guess I'm giving away how old I am anyway. I've said it before, but almost, a whole lifetime again later to witness this. It's fantastic. Don't want to get my hopes up, but I don't know. Maybe they can keep this up going into the World Cup next year. I don't know. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Hopefully this team can only get better from here. Anyway, just pure excitement, pure love, pure joy, all the happiness that I could get from a football team. Anyway, let's continue on though. But the real story of today and what we're going to be doing is Transfer Meter, and we're talking about the outgoing players. Last time we talked about who could be coming in. This time we're going out. Don't worry, we'll talk about the incoming again. We're going to have another one of those shows dropping soon. But for right now, we're talking about the outgoing players. Who's leaving? Who do you need to keep an eye on to be headed out the door, at least for now? So we'll get into it now. Ciao, Bianconeri. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today is Monday, July 12th, 2021. And like I said, we're going to go through this. We're going to read, we're going to talk about some of the top outgoing transfer options for Juventus. Who's leaving, who's actually leaving, and who's staying. We'll see. Sometimes Gattuso sometimes may be good, sometimes maybe shit. We'll see. All right. First off, we got our boy, Marko Pjaca. What can I say about Pjaca? Honestly, he hasn't stuck with the club at all the last few years. He's always bouncing around from target to target. Genoa or whoever it may be is, an option for him. Whoever's looking at him going forward, we'll keep an eye on. But basically, I don't want to spend I don't want to spend too much time talking about Marko Pjaca. But we know Marko Pjaca is on his way out. He's going to be moved. Hopefully on a permanent transfer deal, whatever it may take. Maybe not. We'll see. But just pay attention to him. He will not be with the club next season. There's not really much else to say about that going forward. We have a lot more interesting targets coming up here shortly. So I had got him at basically 100%. He's 100%er. He's out the door. Let's move on to some, more conversative ones. Conversative? Is that even a word? Whatever. All right. Next one up, we've got our boy. It is Gianluca Frabotta. He's a hot name that's been really building some steam. As we know right now, it appears that the latest news that we have is that Allegri's going to have him here for the preseason. He's going to be working with the team, seeing what he can bring and see if maybe he's an option to really be able to provide more for the club, potentially this season. I know Andrea Pirlo last season was able to give him some much needed, or maybe not much needed. Maybe it depends on whose side you are. But if you're him, it's much needed, some playing time, some reps with the first team. We saw him more than I ever expected to see him. But where does he look right now? Right now, he is at about a 65%. Let me make sure my eyes aren't killing me. Sorry, I don't have my contacts in. He's about 65% actually to be headed out. So it's pretty likely. The only thing that could change that right now is if he really, for some reason, seems to be a viable option to stay with the club, especially as a back position that we're looking for. As we know, we're a little bit, with our fullbacks, we could definitely use some new fresh faces coming in, especially with, with the likes of Alexandro and whoever, if they're ever injured and need somebody to step in. Of course, at this time, though, I don't know really how much that Frabotta will offer. I wasn't like at first. He played very well. Again, I've said this stuff before, but he was very serviceable against some of the lower talents in the Serie A, the ones that aren't as competitive. I don't want to say are not competitive because heck, we saw how Juventus fared against some of the worst teams, dropping points against Crotone and whoever. Anyway, regardless, right now he seems pretty likely. He's shown interest from a few clubs. We'll see going forward. You talked about Genoa or whoever thought a deal would be done, but it's not done yet. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if he ends up going, what Allegri decides. But right now, still pretty likely that he won't be with the club going forward. And then we go to our next target. Oh no, I forgot the lights. Oh well, those are both green, blue for Azzurri. Now I'll start using the lights. I apologize. I know that's very important. All right. Now we go to our boy, and this is a good one, Demiral. Okay, let's go back to the lights. We'll use this is like a green, yellowy green. I don't even know if it really shows up that well on the screen. There you go. Sorry, guys. Now I'm back to using it. We have him about 60% chance that he is out. We know Atalanta, Roma, Tottenham, all these places have been interested, especially Tottenham with Paratici. That might be a viable option, especially they have a little bit more money. Of course, I don't know how much money they really have, but they have more money than maybe some of these smaller clubs, even like a Roma would have. We've heard talks about Roma being interested in him. The problem is Roma either was trying to bring that price down. They were trying to include players in the deal. Juventus at this time is not interested in including players in the deal. They just want money. They want 40 to 45 million or more, obviously. But that's around the range they're looking for euros, and they want cash. That's the main barrier to selling him right now. If you look at it, we've got Atalanta showing a lot of interest in him. Could be a big target. Hopefully, maybe they'll be able to pay. They've got a bonus from finishing in the top 4. But going forward, as it stands, that's the main barrier to him leaving. I know a lot of people still like Demiral a lot, still wanted the future of the the M&Ms, D&Ds, whatever you want to call it, double Ds, him and De Ligt together. But as it stands right now, he is very likely to go, mainly because he's the big prospect that can bring in money, and that's what Juventus needs. They need cash right now. Let's move on to our next topic, or our next guy, at least we got, and that is Mattia Perin. And he will go down a little more into the yellow range. Let's see, does yellow show up? There we go. He's a little bit more in the yellow range when it comes to his sale. We got him about 50%, so he's right there in the middle-ish to his sale. The main issue with selling him is, for his transfer out of the club. Sorry, I apologize. I lost my train of thought for a second. Anyway, the main barrier to him going anywhere is just that Juventus, if they want him, or if a club wants Perin from Juventus, they want to sell him for cash. They don't want anything else. They don't want to loan him out. They don't want any other kind of deal. They just want the amount that they requested. I think it was somewhere. This might be too big. Was it like 12 million or something? Sorry, I apologize. The money, whatever, who cares? It's really about, is he coming or is he going or is he going to stay? The other option right now is Juventus needs a second goalkeeper. Their plan right now seems to be Perin. He seems to be the option to back up Szczesny. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to be able to play, be able to get seen, and be able to prove himself to try to join the Italian national team, which is an honorable goal to be said. But at the same time, as it stands right now, he may have to sit on the bench because we're just waiting to see if somebody will actually offer money for him. Genoa wants him or whoever wants him. They're going to need to pay cash. Let's move on. And if just to go off it, obviously we know this, but say Perin were to be able to be sold or whatever, it seems like Sirigu seems to be the viable option to come in that will maybe help him out the door. And then we'll go on. We've got the 6th guy up. And who is it? It is Cristiano Ronaldo. His situation's getting a bit complicated lately, or it's always been complicated. Who are we kidding? Let me move him down. Actually, he's about the same range. He's about 50%. He could stay, he could go. The main issue, obviously, with Ronaldo is this is his last year on his contract. I think we've all gotten plenty of the vibe or whatever you want to call it, feeling that he just wants to leave. He wants to be out of Juventus. Things haven't gone the way he was hoping. You've seen a lot of displeasure on his face during games. Sometimes, or some of those matters, I can't blame him for. It's not all his fault. Obviously, there's plenty of issues with other players and everything else that's been going on. But at the time, honestly, the way Ronaldo sits is my dream was obviously the Manchester United Pogba Ronaldo switch. That ain't happening. It seems Manchester United is okay with riding him out to the end of this year and the end of his contract to see and gamble on what will happen there. And then PSG seems to be we've known PSG is a contender, but that's the latest big contender that could really decide everything. I think there's a meeting, either it happened yesterday or will happen soon, between Juventus and his manager, Jorge Mendes. What will come of that? Who knows? He may just voice his, willingness to stay with the club. The other option to go with that, though, is will he extend? And that'll be something to be talked about. But let's go back to PSG. Sorry, let's go back and talk about PSG. PSG is the option. They've got all the money in the world. They bought Donnarumma, who after this Italian match makes me even more upset. After the Italian match, after Italy winning the Euro, and the way that he did it, he stepped up big time. I love Gianluigi Donnarumma. Obviously not more than my boy Buffon, but I'm really starting to love this kid even more. Obviously now he's kind of cemented himself, his legacy already with the club. But, it just breaks my heart even more that he's not here at Juventus for the upcoming season. Regardless, PSG, they've got the money. There's a lot of things people are talking about, where Mbappe or Neymar, one of them going to move out, then you can bring him in. It's all relying on that. Ronaldo is currently has been, maybe Jorge Mendes have been in talks with them. Nothing has really come from it yet, but he is definitely a target for PSG. We'll see. If he doesn't go to PSG, he will be staying with the club. But then to go off, and then there's been rumors about a potential extension. I don't know. I'm kind of tended to lean toward they won't extend, and he'll just be kind of what's the word I'm looking for? He'll just be here he'll just see out his final year and then make a move wherever he wants to do. If he were to extend, though, I got to give Ronaldo credit if he were to do an extension, because that's only helping Juventus. I mean, yes, obviously you're going to end up paying him his exorbitant wages, but at the same time, if somebody wants to buy him, they'd have to purchase him from him and not just get him for free. So we'd actually be doing Juventus a solid. We will see what happens from there. Something to keep an eye on, but right now it's a coin flip of where Ronaldo ends up. I tend to lean, though, we say 50%, I tend to lean more that he'll be staying than he'll be going. So we may get one more season of Ronaldo in Juventus, good or bad, depending on who you are. And I do want to be careful and say that, yes, there's obviously some issues with Ronaldo, and he hasn't panned out perfectly, but at the same time, there have been positives. We'll say that. And then we've got Aaron Ramsey. He's in the same boat. He's about 50%. The issue with him is his wages. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's all I really need to say. Yeah. Issue with him is his wages. I know Arsenal was a place that he would love to go back. Their Wolves are looking at him. A couple other, Premier League clubs were looking at him. I want to say, did Aston Villa come up? Anyway, there were a couple of names that popped up for him. The problem is Juventus is paying him way too much. Juventus signed him up for these deals that just, facepalm, whatever you want to call it. It's just not smart to begin with. As it stands, he's 50-50. Unfortunately, actually, I might raise him out more to 60%, as in he's 60% staying. All right, no. Sorry. Lower him down to 40%. Sorry, I mixed up which way I'm going with this. I would lower him down a little bit just because I think they came out and his was it one of the latest reports? I read it on the news. What am I saying? But the reports were that he kind of told the club he wants to stay. So he wants to be a thorn in Juventus' side for another season. I mean, I can't blame him for everything, because obviously you got to get your money and nothing's promised. And you can't just leave, take a pay cut. Who knows about your future and all that. But at the same time, if you want playing time, if you want all this, if you want a good feeling with the club and with the fans, maybe see yourself out. That's all I'm saying. Do whatever you can to help out when it comes to that. So 50-50, he's a coin flip too. We'll see what happens. I'm afraid, honestly, that he's more of a 40%, and as in he'll be staying more than anything. Hopefully I'll be proven wrong. You never know. They move him somehow, players. All right, let's get going to another big boy. Big boy. I don't know why I said that. And again, I'm sorry, we're still on the 50%. That's where we are. Sorry, guys. And that is Radu Dragusin. The situation with him, his name was hot earlier. That Hansel's so hot right now. Anyway, his name was hot because, he was talked about. He was the one floated out there in the whole Locatelli issue, the whole situation with the club, and that would be the player that Sassuolo is most interested in to bring in to cut down a little bit of the costs for Locatelli for Juventus. As it stands right now, though, it doesn't seem as likely. Honestly, the whole deal with Locatelli is a mess right now. What game is Sassuolo playing? I know they're using Arsenal. They're saying another club has an offer. We'll see. The player wants to go to Juventus. But I think what they really want is just the full money, 40 million or maybe even more now, even though thankfully, I'm so thank you, Robbie Mancini, that you decided not to play. I would have loved to see him, score more goals and do more for the national team. But thank you for not playing him more. You gave him, you kept us even money for now. There's a little boost with those 2 goals in that early match, but luckily, you're not hurting us even more for right now. And you won us the Euros in doing so. So who's going to complain about that? Anyway, when it comes to Radu Dragusin, basically all we really know right now is he was on the table for a move out of the club just to go to Sassuolo, possibly on a loan, or not on a loan, with a buyback option down the road. Anyway, I don't know. I guess the option is more than likely if he's not included in the Locatelli deal, he's staying. He seems pretty intent on wanting to stay. But the problem is like you're not going to get that playing time at Juventus that you think you are. You'd be doing yourself a favor. It would behoove you. It would behoove you to go. Maybe if you could have Juventus working some kind of deal, buyback option, all that, you go build up yourself at Sassuolo, and then you come back once you've proven yourself, and then we get Locatelli as well. But as it stands right now, I kind of tend to lean more that Sassuolo is going to play more hardball and really just want more money for Sassuolo than anything. So maybe Radu Dragusin will be coming back. And then the last one for this edition of the transfer market, and let me make sure that is the last one. Actually, no, it's not. I apologize. Is it not? Am I missing? Oh, no. It is not even close to the last one. I apologize. I missed some guys. Let's go back. I started very low and I missed 3 guys. So let's move back to the one, to number 2. I did not do these in order. Anyway, and we got Mattia De Sciglio. And let's move him. He's about... let's go a little bit lighter than that. That's a little bit too hopeful, with that one. De Sciglio, he's about a 75% that he's out. He doesn't really have a place in the club. The only real factors when it comes to De Sciglio is finding him that landing spot. Could Lyon work out a deal down the road? We'll see. We've also seen some interest from some of the lower level clubs, maybe in Serie A. And trying to look at him, it's just, price again. Juventus pays them. They sign these deals. That's all it is. But he's still very likely to be out. It's just, inking that deal and finding the things. Obviously, right now, things have cooled down. The name doesn't get popped up as much, besides saying that he's coming back because whoever at the time didn't pay that or didn't renew his loan. But he doesn't really have a place for the club. If he wants to play, professional football, he will make the good decision, which is the right decision, and that'll be to move on. Now, after I got that one out of the way, we have... Oh, here we go. This one's a spicy one. But I will go down to his color. This is Federico Bernardeschi. We're in the orange. Orange didn't show up great back here or whatever. Anyway, he's at about a 40% chance that he's on the outs. I think we all know this. Bernardeschi wants to stay with Juventus. He wants to be a Juventus player. Fortunately, regardless of what you think of him, and we all know, we get it. Bernardeschi's not great. Bernardeschi's not anything that he was sold to us or what we purchased him as. what we expected out of the player. He has been a massive disappointment. Okay, we'll say that, unfortunately. Moving on from that, though, he has his moments. He's definitely had his moments with the Italian national team. And again, I will give him the smallest bit of credit in saying that he definitely showed up, nailing those two penalty kicks when it mattered most against Spain, and then in the final against England. So credit there, whatever it is. Regardless, right now it seems Bernardeschi's going to stay. I don't think he's leaving. The only thing that may change that is maybe Allegri will tell him, this ain't working out. It's not going to happen. Do yourself a service while you can and get out and do it for money rather than just being on a free, which is a little bit embarrassing, to be honest. Being on a free is always embarrassing. I don't know. I still think that there's hope. I don't think there's hope. I don't want to say that I'm hopeful. What I mean is I still think he has hope that Allegri will try to revitalize his career with Juventus, thinking that he knows how to use him in the proper way to be a serviceable player going forward. I still think that's one that holds strong, and that's why he'll definitely, I'm about fairly certain that he will still be with the club following this summer. Really, are you hearing a lot of interest? I'm not hearing a lot of interest from Bernardeschi anymore, except for, of course, Maurizio Sarri. But, Juventus and Lazio hate each other. Or, Lazio hates Juventus at least, so a deal's not working out there. He'll be with the club. We'll see what happens. Does he get an extension after this season? Who knows? And then, let's move on from here. And then we've got, number 10. There we go. Number 10, and that is Nicolo Fagioli. We have him at about 30%. Let's see. That's about a burnt orange a little bit. Yeah, there's the color we're going for. He's about 30%. He's more than likely going to stay with the club, as we know. He seems to be kind of like this year's Wonder Boy. He's the guy that, of all the players, the fans have really bought into. And I'll be honest, I don't want to say that I'm not all the way in on him, but when it comes to Fagioli, I saw him play some. He did well. He had a lot of bright spots. But to be honest, I don't know if he's going to be like, he's that guy who needs to be playing every match. He needs to get playing time and all that. I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait. Let's slow it down a little bit. Maybe Allegri will do something even more than Pirlo did. And Pirlo did well in picking him out as being a future talent. I like Fagioli, but do I think he's going to be an all-star in the team? Right. So as it sits, more than likely he will be staying with the club unless like somebody like Sassuolo is like, we want Fagioli, put him in the deal. Then like they'll tell you the deal. Then obviously I feel like the club will probably make the move and be like, okay, we'll include Fagioli. Just make sure you put that buyback option. Okay, guys? But as it sits right now, he was going to be staying with the club because, I keep saying, I apologize, guys. I'm going to say a lot. I'm literally just going off the cuff with my head here. I don't know what I'm thinking about. But regardless, he is going to be used by Allegri in the preseason to really test him out, see what he can do, see what the youth can do. Maybe he'll like what he sees, and maybe he'll stay and be like, I don't want to say he'll be in the rotation at least. I think he stays regardless. It's just, will he cement himself in that rotation going forward? And then let's see, is this our last boy? Yeah, this is our last guy of the day. And it is kind of a hot name lately to be talking about. And that is Artur Melo. And right now he is, I guess I should use my thing. He's about the least likely to go. You probably can't tell any difference between that red and the last red. Whatever. It's a lower red. It's a 20% low. And the reason is the medical issues with Artur. The only option that really seems to be right now is PSG seems to be interested in him. Are they pursuing him? I don't know. But they seem to be interested in the player at least. They were interested in him before. I don't fully know why. Like, I'll be honest, there's a lot of people that are down on Artur. I'm not as down as a lot of people are, but I also wasn't truly impressed with what I saw with him out on the field, running around slow as heck. Yes, he did some nice things with the ball or whatever, but then there was a lot of times that he was just too slow. He's just too slow out there. But the real reason that he's not transferring out this season is because the injury, his stupid decision to not go in, have that surgery at the very end of play last season. Instead, he decides, oh, let's wait, let's see what goes on with the calcification. I don't know why he's talking like this. But anyway, that he just waited to see how the calcification would go and whatever issue that came on with that. I'm not a doctor, but I do know it's not good and that it probably should have been handled before. Let's see how it does with he wants to try it in training, the preseason matches, see how that goes for him. I'm gonna guess not good. I'm gonna guess that you're gonna be going the Khedira route this early part of the season, at least a couple months or so. And anyway, just how if you've watched any of these videos, you know how I feel about this. I'm not happy about it. I'm a little bit pissed at him for making this decision, being a little bit negligent with his play at the club. Also, just doesn't make sense if you're a true footballer, whatever you want to call yourself. I was just gonna say baller, period. But if you're an athlete and you want to play, you want to be out there and you want to be playing now, you should have got that taken care of before. So anyway, more than likely, Arthur is the most likely candidate to stay at the club. I think a lot of these guys are likely to stay at the club, to be honest. Honestly, if you're 50-50, I'd say if you're in 50%, you're probably staying. That's unfortunate. I know it's not going to make a lot of you happy, but we'll see what happens. Of course, we're only looking at bringing in really a couple players anyway. But that'll do it all for the transfer meter show this week, I guess. We're gonna have another one coming soon. Don't worry. We're talking about the guys coming in. I know that brings a lot more interest probably than the guys that you guys want out, but I know I hear a lot from you about the ones that you want out. So please go ahead. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell to stay notified to the channel. And then also leave your comments down below what your thoughts are on our rating or ranking for the transfer meter. What would you do different? Or when I say what would you do different, I know a lot of you would sell a lot of these guys. I know that. I'm aware. Thank you. But I mean, like, where would you rank their rating? Where would you say, oh, I think he's definitely more likely to go than this guy? Yada, yada, yada. I want to hear all that. So leave that in the comment section down below. But until then, make sure you follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram, and follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri, and Forza Azzurri.